What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Welcome, anyone who's tuning in here. Say hi in the chat if you're on YouTube. You can also go subscribe on Twitch to go chat there. We'll be watching both as we play Midnight. I'm hoping the restream is working okay here. This is the first time I think I've got it successfully going, so that's good. How metal is this track? You guys playing Midnight? Who here's playing it? Because I'm having a pretty good time. Just gonna open up a little chat box here, you guys. Thought I had it open already. But welcome. Here we are on Xaxxas for anybody who just tuned in. I'm Xaxxas. I should have said that. I stream sometimes, you guys. Rather, make YouTube videos as Xaxxas sometimes, but that's my little goblin persona. Funny guy. So, just select this. Oh, no. Sorry. Starting off with technical difficulties a tiny bit. You guys hear me okay here? Someone says they're currently updating. Hey, sorry. That's why I'm trying to get the chat up on a different screen here quickly, because I'm having trouble reading it down there. Here we go. This is much better. Witherm87, thank you. I understand War Within, honestly, I hate to say it, because I collected some stuff from like the War Within Collector's Edition. Really hyped for that expansion. And I actually played it less than any other WoW expansion in the history of my time playing the game. Since World of Warcraft Burning Crusade, late Burning Crusade it would have been, and then I officially got started in Wrath, I'd say, with the launch of it. But Xaxxas, good to hear you're currently updating. So, pardon me, I tried to mute that. Totally failed at that. What we're doing today is basically just going through some of this questing stuff here because I've done it once or twice now, but I haven't finished it on Xaxxas. We got started last week, so hopefully it's not too difficult. I'm playing my Destro Warlock, but yeah, I just want to honestly chat with you guys, like share any thoughts you have about Midnight. How's it all going? If there's anyone on Twitch here? I'm not sure just yet. Not looking like it, but it'll come in. I'm just glad to be streaming on both. We gotta become a partner. And let me know how the audio sounds, guys, if I'm too loud here. Get a foot pedal. Good idea. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's a good one. I got the button right in front of me. I guess I double clicked it. It was a bit silly. Sounds good. Thank you for the feedback, Witherm, and thank you for following on Twitch. That's great. That's great. Yeah, so I played this the one time so far, or sorry, like I said, the twice, and I gotta say, like, it's just epic. I get so hyped up doing this one. Never wanted to have to be following for 3 months to chat on Twitch. That's not right. That's not right at all. Well, thank you for letting me know that. I'll see what I can do to fix that. Community. Goodness, that doesn't seem right at all. Thank you for telling me, though. No wonder. That's we got. I'll turn off subscribers only, followers only. Here we go. 0 minutes. There we go. There we go. Now I fixed it just now. I hope. First time chat. Frostbound Warden on Twitch. My first Twitch chatter. Thank you, sir. Welcome, or madam, or other. Thank you so much. Habit. Witherm says you haven't seen anything on Midnight yet. Well, do you know the main plot, sort of? Like, what's going on with the Void attacking and... you know, it's interesting when we have this woven together saga. It does feel like there's a little more pre-explaining required in order to get people caught up on what the story is. So, do I go back as far as Dragonflight and tell you, well, this is actually part of Iridikron's plan? You might say, who's Iridikron? He's not in this expansion, and he wasn't in the last one either. So it's a bit of an odd situation, but by the time we get to the last Titan, I'm sure that'll all work out. Just a little bit lost. I'm getting too caught up in it. So you're caught up to lore to date with retail, yeah. Well, that'll help you. Appreciate that you're just watching me play it for some reason. I mean, yeah, welcome. And to anybody else coming in, I'm free, they said on Twitch, yeah. So I'm gonna play this cinematic actually. Hopefully my Voidwalker is not in too much trouble here. Can I dismiss him? Isn't that funny? Okay, good. This cinematic is so cool. We're gonna watch it together. Yeah, Wither, I get that. Doing dungeons too much can just totally get me ground out of it. Hot take, this should have been the reveal cinematic. I kind of agree. I think it hit harder to have it right before we get into the fight, but there's so much mythical storytelling going on in this. It's actually pretty cool. This feels like it's not just about characters, but about the cosmos itself. How many people have been in this situation? That's kind of what I think.
You fight with such conviction.
Talking over it,
but your light will betray you.
Light will betray you. It's interesting Zalatath feels that way.
When you need it most, your
light will turn to wrath. With them, I kind of agree. This being Anduin would make a lot of sense because his whole arc was sort of in that novel. He was even he says to Sylvanas, he's really concerned whether or not the rage and how do I put this? The sort of wrath, honestly, that he was displaying as he was slaying people in Ardenweld, or like when he was dominated. Anduin began to question whether or not he felt that was actually his fervor. You know, that he could be capable of doing that regardless of domination. And it would have been pretty nice to see, just following the War Within, right? When he's saying, like, you know, I'm not that person anymore. There is no light in me. He's holding like the sword to Thrall.
Sure what happened in that moment.
I'll turn this down for a second. I want to finish that thought. But maybe the music doesn't have to go off, sorry. But yeah, I would like to see that as well. Just not to hammer it home too hard. But yeah. Anduin, I see why they went with Eretor. There's something maybe more believable about this elf character whose parents are both sort of cosmically imbued, taking on this very epic moment that I totally talked through. Man, because it's so cool. I could just watch it again and talk about it. But let's move moving on into questing here, because I do want to get Xaxxas into Eversong. We must rally the Vanguard. Let's do that first. I need Lothraxion. Oh, Lothraxion. I know where he is. He's up there. I'll get on the mount temporarily. The potato says allows for negative male and positive female characters. I actually, yeah, I see what you're saying there. Just keep flipping the yin and yang so we see it, you know? Like, could have had a character like Anduin sort of start to, and not to say like just like referentially too lazily, but like Tyrande got to be the embodiment of wrath and vengeance when it came to fighting the Horde and Sylvanas during Shadowlands. So if you got to see Anduin sort of accidentally give in and summon the light in ways that he's not used to doing as much. Because if you think back to the BFA cinematic, Anduin, his first thought is like, my father's sword is almost a bit too heavy to live up to. And he throws it down and decides to start healing everybody. But for Anduin to start learning how to use the light like a weapon, it's kind of like the questioning we'll eventually get to, but some of you all may have seen it with Zul'Jan. He says about the light, it's a comfort, but it's so easily honed into a weapon, which is a pretty cool point he makes. So Lothraxion, I should have read what he said out loud there. The Xaxxas calls us to glory or death. I love him. I'm very upset that he has to die this expansion. So I gotta kill a couple more Void Forces, it looks like. Let's help these Paladins out. Put my sound back on. Yeah, I didn't. Lobetrarion. You know what's funny about that is that in the end, they decided to write it that he's the one who's being betrayed. If we've seen the dungeon journal here, Nexus Point Xanus, Lothraxion. Blinded by betrayal, Lothraxion storms the Nexus Point alone. With its defenses shattered, he prepares to breach the Nexus core, risking a chain eruption that could annihilate Silvermoon and ripple across Azeroth itself. Which would be a terrible thing to have happen. But I want to point out that Blizzard putting this into the dungeon journal is a little bit, it's pretty cheeky of them, because the only character who actually tells us that it might blow up Silvermoon, this is spoilers for Voidstorm's questing, but it's a Dominar. It's a Dominar named Decimus, and I don't know why we should trust him. The entire quest line, Lothraxion is saying, like, why would you trust this Void Spawn over me, like, to Illyria? I'm not sure that Lothraxion was wrong, and we'll just have to see. We'll have to see. Yeah, Dominar. Dominar are the new type of Void Spawn characters. We don't see a ton of them in this early questing, but it's this character. I'll just show you on the these sort of things. We don't know their origin yet, but they seem to be, let's say, just inhabiting or native to the Void Storm. So, yeah, but they're just duplicitous. Even Lothraxion, one of his opening, I should be fighting stuff. But Lothraxion says in the opening quest, he says, like, oh, we don't know much about these Dominar, but what little I do know is like that they're pretty terrible. And if you think about that coming from a Dreadlord character, like, he knows what terrible duplicitous deception looks like. And yeah, what was he gonna say? He's gonna steal it for Daddy Denathrius. Yeah, I'm curious what he's trying to do with the. I'm hoping that he has that sort of a, I don't know, like an ultimate allegiance, or maybe if they do make him go, let's say, like light blinded, which is kind of the new thing right now. If they do that with him, I would like to see him come back even more wrathful. I'd like to see him come back with the Arathi army. I think that'd be really cool. He was just like, all right, you killed me when I was in the right. Let me show you what real righteousness looks like. But if he did end up coming out as being like, you know what, yeah, it's all for Denathrius. Of course it's for Denathrius, or whoever the master is in that case. Ryan B, thank you for subscribing on Twitch. Thank you for that.
The light will protect you.
Oh, man. There's one thing I'm not used to doing, to be honest. It's like multitasking while playing the game here. So we'll have to see how that goes. But thank you guys for bearing with me. I know I've not even got through 2 quests. But I'm enjoying chatting a lot. That's the fun part for me. I'm just really having a good time talking to you guys about the WoW lore. So thank you. Thank you for asking questions, and happy to try to answer questions, speculate, all of that. But let's get a mosey on. I'm sure I'm almost done here. Oh, that's right. My 5 buttons. My dot. Of course I got dots. The badly timed coil. There we go. Okay. Let's get a mosey. Still deciding what mount I want to be using. I'm going to be mostly on foot. I'm glad they force you to be on foot for this intro. It makes it feel very oppressive. Like you're being shrunken. It's pretty good. But yeah, the Void Spire story is the one I want to see, says Rhythm. That'll be interesting. Yeah. So, if we almost auto-continue, because this is my 3rd time, but I want to say it's really neat the way they let you sort of choose between these. I don't know if there's much of a difference in the questing, but the way they set up Turalion, the way they set Turalion and Lorthamar as being really at odds here is for reasons I can kind of both agree with, is the point I'm trying to make.
With perseverance and strength, we shall not falter.
Alright, so it seems like you do them in the right order. either order. But excellent work, Xaxxas. Well, it's my pleasure. Try to focus on. Oh, cutscene. Look at that blue lightning. Hey, MRTS. Thank you for lurking here. Or what does that say? It says what +1 lurker, big fan. Thank you.
Naruto, wait! I must escort these civilians to the docks and get them to safety. There are still many unaccounted for. We cannot abandon them to the void.
Of course, Lorthamar. We'll do everything in our power to
Well, you know,
safeguard
Wither, what you said there is,
Surely
you
the
said,
High
well,
Exarch can
I don't
spare
like
us
to
for
pick
a
your
moment to
adventure
save
on
some
the
lives.
first playthrough. I kind of know what you mean, because you don't know that you're actually missing an option, perhaps. Warcraft is not necessarily the most typical game to have that sort of decision making, and so if you don't know it's happening, I think I was mistaken to think it is happening. We handed in both of those quests there, and it looks like I'm just basically continuing. I thought the first time I did this, I saw that I chose to side with Lorthamar. I was like, yeah, let's save people. But yeah, that's a good idea. What within what you just said is sort of like, I guess, what they tried to do with Starfield. Where you play the main story and you have RPG choices there, but then you can do your New Game Plus and have a whole new version. The Stalwart Teen, welcome. They said, right now I have the goblin voice in my head shouting, pay no attention to that human in the corner of the stream. Pay no attention to that human. If I got longer ears, you guys, how does that work? Welcome back to Knowledge Wars. Sorry. I know, it's like, who is this man? Imposter? Well, it's the art of being a dreadlord.
The light
So
of the
easily
Sunwell
fooled.
be with you.
Oh, thank you for chatting. Eliminate gloom stress. We must save the civilians and get them to the ships, yet the docks is barred by a vile, hungering creature. If we are to save my people, then we need to clear an evacuation path. We cannot leave them to fend for themselves. I agree, Eric.
Come on, champion. Let's clear a path for the survivors.
Alright. Yeah, for anyone doesn't know, I'm doing it. I am on Xaxxas as well. Saving him for all of you guys, but... Alright, let's get down here. Save some people. I'm here to save people and chew bubblegum. With Kaja gum. Would that be a thing, I guess? Kaja gum? It has to be.
The dark times will pass.
Alright, let's get through this. It's not the longest one they've had, which is nice too.
Allow the light to
It
be your guide.
clearly can take a while if you're being like multitasking slow like I am, but ultimately, pretty good. Get my void walker out. And I'm foolishly playing this without having a soul stone or my health stones. What's going on here? Not my best look.
Not fall today. By the light.
Yeah, I'm
suffer no more.
really excited to see what the raids are like, because some of the boss fights recently, with the kind of abilities they give us, those are a great time. I mean, the abilities they have against us. Sorry, speaking a little bit out of turn. I gotta get a goblin goblin cardboard mask. Well, you know what, guys? We could do that. I'll show you all something really quickly here. This is so geeky. For anybody who's a good loyal fan, I just had to show you. Oh, I'm actually in a fight. I thought this thing would die so much faster. But you'll see right beside me here, anybody can spot Vol'jin's mask here. I'll bring it up to the camera a little closer. But my dear beloved girlfriend made this. And a statue of Vol'jin on top of it. Let me just move that first. Check this out. He has a urn with it. Grab the urn. But this is Vol'jin's urn, made by my my biggest fan, and I'm her biggest fan. But this is like a painted cardboard. I shouldn't sell the magician's secret, but the point is, it would be very nice. We could make a Xaxxas mask. Actually, is my point. That would be the fun. Why keep bulging on top of that? Oh, so fantastic. Fantastic indeed. Sorry, just had to geek out and share that with everybody because I'm so proud of that. Thank you for letting me share that. Let's kill this stuff and then get out of here. Save some more civilians. But yeah, thanks for saying it's cool. It is neat, eh? Alright. Where are the civilians at right now? I'm in the wrong area. Yeah, I know, right? She could honestly open an Etsy or something, but that would be, you know, sometimes it takes the fun out of it, but that would be the best thing. I'm hoping when I'm going to BlizzCon this year, we're thinking like, should I bring some sort of a small cosplay piece of some kind? You know, like the actual mask part lifts off of the urn, so that's an option. But yeah, anyways. Withram says you listened to Novel for the first time in a year to catch up on the lore. Yeah, Novel's fantastic for that. Novel is a no BS kind of guy. He's very happy to have he's very happy to spend a lot of his time, honestly, recounting what the lore is. He plays the game like a historian almost. It's beautiful. A lot of times I've listened to Noble when I'm or Noble, however you say it, sorry. But when I'm at work, you know, just moving stock at stuff boxes and having him in my ear telling me about Ner'zhul is just reminding me about Ner'zhul, I could even just say, to be honest. But that's the best part, is to have somebody who's taking that time to try to remind us, you know, the massive compendium of stories that there is. So, Ryan B, would you imagine had Blizzard made the Ethereals as core races and the Nethermancer as their exclusive hero class, and it would have involved Ajara appearing? Yeah. That would have been neat. And then the two ethereal factions would join the two factions respectively, with Bane and Gen greeting them. Interesting for Bane and Gen. Why do you say Bane Bloodhoof and Gen Greymane is the ones to meet the ethereals? That's an interesting pair. But yeah, that would have been pretty cool. I'm hoping somehow by the end of this we do get the Koreshi. You think that would be worth it, you know? I mean, I don't know where I won't lie, I'm a little bit perplexed by Blizzard choosing to not have the Amani somehow playable, but I understand it's a sensitive situation because you still have the Blood Elves in the Horde. But, you know, the way the story's kind of developed, they're treating Zul'jin like the biggest doink ever, who has every blame, basically. It's a little bit unfortunate. Like I understand where the story's coming from, but the point is we have characters that are, at this point, like the Haranir and the Earthen, like you just said, they're already defined the rules, if you know what I mean. So, my best thinking is they should probably make the High Elves neutral. I think at this point you should just add, like, you should turn when you pick a Void Elf or a Cinder or Blood Elf, I think it should be one race now. I think they should just call it like the High Elves, and maybe each faction has just one or two more unique options. You know what I mean? But I agree with them. We have enough elves, so don't add a new race, but just actually make it one core race now. With the way they have the Haranir, the Drakthir, the Earthen, I don't see how it would be offensive to the story to just basically have a custom intro. Like, you would choose the same way you do now when you make a Pandaren or a certain allied race. There are certain ones where you chose, like Exile's Reach, that you would just immediately choose your faction before you even entered. So if they kept up that status quo, then we could see that. Avatar and I will get you to safety. Let's get off this bloody island. Hey, Golden Yak. Thank you for tuning in shortly here. Nice to see you here. Ryan B says the Amani trolls joining the Horde unlocked from Zul'Aman, and the High Elves allied race unlocked after the max level campaign, as allied races would be insane.
We will have justice.
I think that they probably could pull that off. They're just how unique can you make the quel'danas, you know? Because you have. We'll proceed to the Silver Landing. We're done here, folks. Adding another elf race, especially having 2 high elf races, there's got to be a cleaner way to do this. The Void Elves, pardon me. I do have some thoughts about the Void Elves. It's disappointing, just kind of knowing how the whole, the final dungeon, final raid boss, of course we know, is Lura. And while we don't know how the raid ends, it's a little bit, you could kind of assume that the Lura part of it is dealt with, that the Sunwell will no longer have, because the Sunwell is going to do the big bad void thing, that it's always been like, oh no, like, how do I put this? BFA, you know, the epilogue of Legion introduced this idea that if Void Elves, if Void Elves go near the Sunwell, then it will implode with Void, so we cannot have these people here. So it created this reason for there to actually be a dichotomy between the elves. Well, now that's going to be gone. You know what I mean? Assumedly, like I'm pretty sure we're going to be dealing with this, or probably find a way to stabilize the well. And at that point, I'm just wondering, like, they have to become a merged race. I think there's not going to be any more. Effectively, it looks like Umbric is helping us, you know, to fight the void and everything. We're relying on him. So let's, just saying, there was this nice reason to have tension, which is now going to be gone. Alas. Thank you, Xaxxas. These rescue missions are rarely as straightforward as they seem. Yeah, I know, man. They're gonna get me on a Dragonhawk. This is one of the most. These quests are usually pretty fun. I was glad to see it's not far too difficult, but. Save people first. Do you guys have any favorite zones yet? Which ones have you guys gone through? I've gone through Harandar and Zul'Aman, and I just started on Void Storm, but I'm waiting to do that with my lady, and then it'll be I'm looking forward to continuing that one. But what are you guys enjoying? Oh, and hey, LGD 4033. Not sure what your name is. Short name is. LGD. Good to see ya. Alright, let's shoot these. All this slouching. Alright. Alright. Did Eversong campaign that started on Zul'Aman. Zul'Aman is beautifully dreary, he said, and I agree. I know it's I actually live on the west coast of Canada, and so it's a lot like the forests we have here, and it feels at home, you know, down to there being little ferns that feel pretty familiar. You know, I noticed one of the cool details about Zul'Aman, I'm sure I'll show you when we get there again, is the fact that a lot of there's these smaller versions of what look like evergreen trees, you know, with the sort of like, you know, the Christmas tree shape, but they are actually one big leaf. It's one big leaf that comes down and is folded. So it's actually like a tropical thorny looking plant that mimics an evergreen. It's a fun little detail. Hey, Owen. I enjoyed listening to you and Pyro earlier on your podcast, the Hammer and Hearth podcast. What a great name! You guys nailed that. The aesthetic is it's coming together. It was very cozy. So thank you for that. It was great. These ships have crossed the strait, and the refugees have made it safely to Silvermoon. Thank you, Xaxxas. No problem.
What I do for quel'danas.
Yeah, Owen, I'd love to at some point. I'm getting used to the whole streaming thing a little bit, but especially if I flex those muscles a bit. Xaxxas commanded us to assemble his Vanguard of Light.
We
Okay.
should help.
Now we push back, now that we've helped people escape.
Mount up, champion. We must get to the gate before the Vanguard attacks.
Goldeneye, you said you also from the west coast. Nice. Frostbound Warden, you said I enjoyed them all, but Zulaman has been my favorite. That's cool. I'm glad that that's like the resounding answer is that people are saying Zulaman is the best zone. I'm feeling that too. I can't wait to go back there and quest on like the side quests and stuff because I am just trying to get a character up, you know, so I can choose an adventure. Owen, you says you're digging in the background. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I got lots of fun stuff. I'm hiding with my owls right now. And just recently, my girlfriend, she finds all sort of good stuff at the thrift stores, like Trivia Pursuit, World of Warcraft edition. Who isn't? So we could actually just do trivia Q&A on this sometime. Kind of a fun idea. Yeah, I got lots of calendar pieces and stuff, but I got my owls because this is an augury.
Another of the Light's chosen champions.
I'm so glad to hear that the Sindorai survived.
The Vanguard of the
He's just mad at Erator right away. He said, "You acquitted yourself well. Erator did not."
Ready to fight the
Jeez.
fight?
He's giving him crap for no reason. He doesn't deserve that. Yet. Love the mask piece too. Yeah, I'm not sure if you saw it. I did explain that was like that's made by my girlfriend. I geek out every time I look at it, but yeah. Sorry if I'm just repeating myself for some people. I don't know if you missed that part, but figured I'd quickly say. Let's get out of here, man. Oh, it's a lot more to do. I gotta get all these weapons. I know I could actually hop on my mage, but it's so rad, dude. Damn, I know it is. It's pretty great. It's something I'm looking forward to. Hello, she did fantastic. Oh, I have. I know. That's why I'm telling all of you guys again for the third time now, because it's needs to be said. I know I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but she knows enough about the WoW lore at this point that I could probably have her on my podcast of my own or something. That'd be so fun. But on my stream, I should just say as a start.
My father's time.
Everyone knows
Don't
that'll.
always see eye to eye on things.
The family unit is what Blizzard seems to like right now. Anyways, I'm going on. Thanks for commenting, Owen. Really appreciate it. But for anyone who hasn't gone and seen it, you guys should look up the Hearth and Hammer podcast. The first episode just came out today, and it was made by Olwyn Wow, who is in the YouTube chat, and Pyromancer, who is longtime lore veteran in the community. Really, both of them seem to know their stuff quite well. So, go check that out if you get tired of listening to my croaky voice. Or just watching me kill the same void monsters over and over because I'm so slow at my multitasking. But thank you. Yeah, go check that out. Hearth and Hammer podcast. Oh, what a great name. All right. My Voidwalker died. Poor guy. I haven't done many of the dungeons yet. I've only done the ones from the campaign asks you to do, I think, one, the Magister's Terrace. Maybe I've done 2. One of the light bloom ones, but that could have been a delve. Oh, delves. You know, I'm looking forward to labyrinths. It sounds actually a little more my style, something that is a big piece of meat. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? No, but delves sort of being a little more bite-sized. They can feel long, but then they don't have a, you know, honestly, I shouldn't criticize delves. I'm gonna come clean and tell you guys I've only ever done, I think, 12 delves ever now. And 2 of those have been in midnight, in the questing. Before midnight, I did not even have the achievement for 10 delves. I really tried to do it. Here's my piece of feedback from a player. I've been playing World of Warcraft since Burning Crusade, like I said, basically when Wrath came out, just like a couple months before Wrath came out. But I've played the game so much at this point, so it can sort of feel tedious to have to look to hypermax it at this age. My old age of 27. But the idea of there being bountiful delves made me think, I guess I shouldn't do delves that aren't bountiful. So that's my feedback to Blizzard. I basically did not engage with the feature because it seemed like something that was going to be a huge hassle. And I love this game, so hey. That's just me. What did you guys think of delves? Are you excited for labyrinths? Use my soul stones. I kind of forget how to use them because they're not floating above my head. I think that's my own fault. Right. Chaos Bolt, Soul Fire, slap that on. I should have already put Wither on. I think I'm remembering. Generate my soul gems this way. Throw another Chaos Bolt. I know. Seeming like, is this your first time playing WoW? No. You'd think so. I played my Warlock all the way through War Within, actually. Just want to say, I haven't said it in a while. Anybody who's watching, thank you for tuning in. I am Xaxxas, and the guy who makes these YouTube videos with the wacky goblins sometimes, but lately I've been using my own narrative voice to try to ease into just making more casual content, because sometimes I get too picky, but trying some streaming out. So thank you for tuning in. Just leave a like if you can. Just go follow on Twitch, and hey, don't even feel compelled to stick around, but I really appreciate you tuning in. Oh, thank you, Ryan. Thank you. MRTS says, love delves. It gives me a space to challenge myself with classes I don't play much of. Take my time to learn, change keybinds, take breaks. Can't wait for labyrinths. Great. I know, that's a good... Should probably try that out a little bit more. That's a good way to think about it, because you can level by doing delves. Maybe I should try more of that, because there are a lot of delves I did not do. I would kind of the 9 of them that I did do, I basically went ahead and just did those 2 or 3 over and over, if that makes sense. Yeah, maybe it wasn't the best choice.
Fill me with wrath, and I'm not sure what to think when it does.
Yeah, this dialogue feels like it should be something that Anduin was saying, hey? That's very interesting.
My mother Ilaria would know better than anyone how to fight the Void, but I haven't seen her for weeks.
Ilaria's probably in the Void Storm, I think.
Let's focus on activating the
Light Claw. These guys are cool. You know, it's the other ones even remind me more of that. It's almost like Voidstorm reminds me a bit of Oblivion. And you have some demonic, just lizard-type creatures in the plane of Oblivion. For no real reason other than it's badass. So, yeah, but this is, I wish we could tame these. Maybe there's something in Voidstorm that lets us do that, I'm hoping. Oh, pardon me, I hit the mic. Gonna miss all my instant interrupts on my other classes. Oh, I do have this one, actually. Here. Is that an instant cast? Oh, I see. Oops. Vulnerability. Hey, well, the Infernal actually did it. Look at that. I look like such a noob right now. I can barely focus on these multiple things. I really appreciate the chatting, though. It's more fun, honestly. We could just stop playing and talk about Chronicle. I just want to say, too, I'm really, really glad it's actually multi-streaming to Twitch properly. I was not sure if that would work consistently. I had to figure out that YouTube really likes high bit rates when Twitch does not. So you have to do a balancing act.
You will not fall today.
Thank you for the heals, Erator. So what did you guys think about Xalatath's origins seemingly being revealed? Yeah, void crocodiles with wings. Yeah. What are those things called in Oblivion? Elder Scrolls, I should just say. But oh, finally. The StarCraft moment. We've taken out the pylon.
You little
Here she
people
is.
and your struggles.
She was once a little person.
Delicious. You still believe your heroics can defeat my devouring host? My
I bet we
forces
can.
are as boundless as my power.
Oh, finally.
My fun is just beginning.
Oh no, it's a kaiju! Godzilla showed up. That doesn't seem good for us. A lot of treasure in here. What is an artisan's cache? Here's the real question. Is it artisan or artesian? Frostbound Warden, you asked, do you think that she was a child or is her species just small? It did look like she had, she was surrounded by a more grown-up version, but... Goldiak, yeah, get the Arcane Sentinel, Pacific Rim this... that's a good suggestion. We could build a Numidian. What it's called, right? The Numidian from Elder Scrolls lore again. Morrowind.
You are not prepared for what awaits.
I don't have any instant ones. This is fair enough, though. I should probably summon a demon. Oh boy. Oh boy. Ouch. I really should have moved out of that. Okay, now is the time to cast the Soul Stone. G. Man. Oh gosh, not again. Yeah, there we go. Infernal. Blaze. Goodness me. Myself some armor. Swemba, thanks for chatting here. Swemba says, I think Zal from Lightforged Planet. I think there could be something to that. You know, I agree pretty much that I saw people compare the Erator cinematic moment where he's on his knees after he destroyed a bunch of stuff with the light to Xalatath. And in that cinematic before she's taken by the void, you know, it kind of surrounded by ashes. And my first thought when I saw Xalatath was something a bit like the Dalai Lama, you know, this chosen little child, like that's just not to make that sound demeaning at all. Pardon me. When I say a little child, I mean like oftentimes they choose a kid to be like the next reborn Dalai Lama, I believe. And it kind of seems like something like a manifestation of the light could result in a religion like that on some world out there in the Warcraft cosmos. Just her outfit and the bald head, essentially, you know, she looked like a monk. And so I'm wondering, you know, how much pressure would that be on a small child? You know, I think it is in real life when we set up kids for dynasties or something to that effect, you know, massive responsibilities in priesthood. And, you know, people have pointed out the sun motifs that she had on her chest, stuff like that. I think I'm as you guys should know, on the channel I have a couple videos about like, what are the suns and stars? What are they? Are we close to the sun? And are the stars far away? Or are stars something like, as you just see here, it looks like there's starlight in the Void Storm. But those aren't actual stars, so there's just something about that where it's like astral magics have small stars too. And I don't yet know, I haven't quite decided whether or not I'm willing to, I'm in the middle of still posing the argument, let me put it that way, that until proven otherwise, and maybe these small stars do, it's hard to imagine though, because you could always have star dust, for example, so maybe these little small stars we see is just remnants. Getting ahead of myself, but the stars are crystals. I think that the Chronicle says that shards of light were flung throughout reality, nurturing and suffusing the matter of myriad worlds with the spark of life. And in my mind, I suppose I don't think about that as necessarily meaning that these shards slammed into the planet exclusively, because they could be of unimaginable sizes. You know, if these are shards that come from the beginning of the universe, they would be far larger than just a world, you would think. So that's sort of where my mind goes, thinking that Azeroth might be orbiting one of these giant shards, and then things like Beledar or the Naru are smaller fragments of that sort of get imbued with, I don't know, maybe you could use a world soul to make the Naru to give them wills, like the Earthen, like the Titans did to make the Earthen. And not just the Earthen, but other Titan forged, to give them wills.
Do not let this evil shake your resolve.
Erator did not like going behind our lines. Well, we need to save people. Come on, man.
The Vanguard is here to protect. There is
Let's
no
get some
darkness that will not
ethereals.
flee before the light.
The golden thing around her eyes and the tattoos on the Lightforged Draenei. Yeah, that's a good point. They're kind of similar that way. It looked like it was a bit plastered in, almost fused into the skin.
On that we agree. Erator, hold the line. Champion, seize those weapons.
Alright. Let's get on out of here. I thought that would happen way earlier, but we're getting much closer. Got like one or two more after this artifact thing. So. Yes, disintegrate. Thank you. Oh. What if I should just pull out the succubus? She might be better at taunting and interrupts. I think that's the best part of that. Plus, I can't even tell when my Voidwalker's around. There's too many of them. Oh. We'll say thank you again to everyone who's tuned in. Hope you're enjoying hanging out. I'm trying to think of things to talk about while I do this sometimes. Is this one of the buildings that has the, doesn't. I was going to say the floor here is actually interesting. This to me looks like the world soul of Azeroth. And this is a moon of some type, right? Got a crescent. It could even be the embrace happening right before our eyes. It's something I think I don't know if I've mentioned this in a video actually. That appearances, not sets, but weapons, or look at one-handed swords. Are they swords? Maybe they're warglaives. BFA has some couple weapons. I know the one I should go to. The Night Elf Cape. This guy. This makes it pretty obvious when you look at it. But this black stone area is not just an absence of, it's not just the moon's darkness. The Night Elf Crescent logo is actually both moons. You know, they're in embrace mode. So you see that the blue one causes sort of crescent shape. Could be, just saying. Alright, but let's move on here. So yeah. And then like what are these then? What are these little red things? Is this the actual sun? Other worlds, perhaps? The Twisting Nether? Or in the astral... Pardon me. The great dark beyond. A couple more relics to get here. And get past this ethereal. Good. Alright. Didn't dodge that guy, though. Look at that blue on the horizon. That's so vivid. I guess that's where this... Actually, oh, that's the sun, I think. Or one of the moons. It's only 6:06 on this realm, so... I think that could be the sunset. Yeah, no, thank you for commenting here. Not Serenar says that cool that they're using the legendaries from the quel'danas fight in the Eye of Eternity. Or Eye of... Just the Eye. What's it called? Tempest Keep. Yeah, the Eye. Yeah, no, I agree. It's a bit of a good callback that those are the ones they have here, you know, from the final raid, which makes sense. Eventually we would have stored them here. Destroys pylon. Repurposed plunder. Keep forgetting to apply Wither. Which is an ability I love. Wither is just, I kind of wish we could play as satyrs. I think that'd be a really fun, like the Devourer, Demon Hunter, sort of, I guess Warlocks, I mean, in general, would cover that, what am I saying? But, like a casting character with lots of horns. You can kind of pretend as a Draenei. The Haranir actually could look a lot like a satyr if you had the right helmet. Got one upstairs here, surely. Use my little boost. I should make a Soul Safel Health Stone. Can I grab this one from you? Another one upstairs. How are all these weapons? Let's take a look. I don't see any. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Sure need that Hellstone now. By golly, let's get out of here. Come on. We're so close. I do think they could get away with making these a little bit shorter at times. It's fun to play through the first time for sure, but maybe it's because it's my third time doing it. I'm distracted at the same time. It's not unfun. I'm having a good time, which is probably why I'm not too focused. So pardon me for that. Which way do I go? Oh, here we go. Come on, infinity blades. Take that, sir. Oh. You know what? If they never had Void Elves as a race, I bet we would have got Ethereals. Just saying. It's like they already took the racial. Just warping behind the enemy. This bow one is fun. And I won't get to use it. Alright, one more weapon. Ouch. To anyone who's gotten ads by now, I want to say I have it on the 30-minute timer from when you joined. Appreciate the patience with that. Hopefully it's not interrupting too much. I'm also just going slow enough that it shouldn't be totally disruptive, I suppose. But either way, apologies. Where is this last weapon? What am I looking for? Wouldn't be that far. It has to be somewhere around here. I guess if it is Azeroth, they have it a couple times, so I shouldn't read into the other ones too much. But it sure looks like the World Soul and the Moon to me. I cannot find this weapon. Yeah, I did just miss it in the upstairs area. Apologies. Let's try that again. It was in the last building before the bow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. And welcome, Dexterous Slime. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch there. Sorry if you guys who are watching on Twitch. I know I have like 55, something like that, followers. I have not been able to see the events of if people have followed more, but thank you if anyone has followed on Twitch again. That's super appreciated. I wanted to apologize for getting notifications earlier today, especially trying to test the multi-stream. Looks like we got it working, so that's what matters. And that one. Oh, this Quel'danas thing. Scourgebane. Thank you so much for that tip. This is why we gotta do the multi-stream. So I have multiple people telling me what's up. Otherwise, I get lost and double back.
Thank the light. You've recovered the artifacts.
Sure have got them, Yadrin. Sure have.
Pleasantries can wait.
Oh, I need two more. Let's get them. Yeah, that's too far away. Have you guys done much of the dungeons yet? Do you have any favorite dungeons? I haven't done most of them, so I'm looking forward to that. Gems. This one? Okay. Damn, we would one hit that guy. Whoa, Spectral Tiger! That man has a Spectral Tiger. We just saw one in the wild. That's one of the best mounts you could be using for this expansion. Bravo, sir. That was a cool quote from Valiant. Be the light, the darkness.
I answer to the light.
Were they just here to loot us, or do they have some reason to seek out our weapons of the light? I'll save that speculation for later.
Fight well.
I wonder if that'll come back. Seeking out weapons of the light.
The void has come for Azeroth.
Maybe they were gonna gift them to the Arathi on the distant shores.
The void has no place. Vanguard
Join the charge.
with me.
Oh, this is
Push
the
these invaders
pretty
back
much the
to
finale
void and
point.
spawn them. For the light.
Let's get this kaiju. Love the music. It's a good theme.
Keep going. Do not succumb to the darkness.
I don't plan on it, sir.
Forward! We will push back the shadows.
Not again, anyways. I'm clearly a warlock. Don't succumb to the darkness, they say. It's like, I could never. Thank you, Alonzos. You know how much that hurts? This man right here is in absolute agony. He's pure agony. Pain. Agony. But his love echoes the boundless depths.
Another
Let's get this thing.
Drive this monster back to the void.
Yeah, I know Dragon Soul. It's a bit like that. There you go.
Vanguard, redouble your efforts. Today,
Frost Warden says you've only done the dungeons required for the campaign. Same to me. When did my camera go out? Hold on, guys.
The old warrior thinks this will be his crowning achievement.
show yourself.
I'm surprised no one said anything about that. It's totally probably my bad
Paladin
here.
Staring down the might of the void with only the absolute conviction that he is right. So brave in the light. How will you fare lost?
Not sure
in
what's
the
going on.
void? You are only fragile mortals. You never had a chance.
Oh my gosh, there's so many of them. 1 second, guys. I am just trying to see if I can... Oh, look at that. The chat is on my stream, isn't it? I'm glad that actually still works. Come on. Let me just plug my camera in and out. We back? Sorry about that. I did not know that that crapped out for a bit. Hopefully that wasn't terribly long. Glad to have that working again. It's funny because I totally need to take a quick washroom break. But let's just do this part. Summon the Sunwell.
Regroup at the Sunwell before it's too late.
Glad, sorry about the camera, guys. That's I had no clue. That was a bit much. And not mount up here? Jeez. Oh, I see. They have a Dragon Hawk for me.
Champion, mount up! Retreat to the Sunwell!
Let's get a mosey. Finally.
We made it! Light preserve us!
Turalyon is rallying the survivors to the Sunwell chamber.
Yeah, it's really strange. I'm not sure what happened with the camera there. It kind of just timed out on me. I think it knows it's being used. I have my my software is open for it. That was a weird
We must have faith.
mistake.
It will happen again.
So I did try to say this last time. I never really got through it all because I lost the stream. But it's interesting to me the way that Liadrin actually sort of expects that there's like a bit of a presence that she can
You're
call
the
on
last
in
of
the well.
Vanguard to make it.
She speaks to it like a you. Quite a bit more to do here. This quest is not easy when there's not a lot of people around.
Pleasantries can wait. I am the blade of the light. Remain vigilant.
Nothing will get
Arator,
past me.
Champion, defend us as we perform the ritual.
I grab those? Oh. Crap. We hang out with this guy. Together, strength. Unity. Free will is the fight of all sentient beings. Autobots, roll out. Sorry. Getting a bit geeky there. Curse of Dread, no you don't. I cast Curse of Dread. Doesn't make sense. Wait for me, sir. The Sunwell effects are beautiful. There's a lot of like actual heat effects to it. The way there's rippling. You see the light itself is sort of I don't know, what's the word for that? Coagulating? No. Tessellating. I think it's like tessellation. Something like that. Caustic effects. You know, if you've ever seen a sunlight casting on a fire, and in the shadow of not just the smoke, but the heat, you'll see those ripples. That's what I'm seeing there. Alright. They seem to have patched this at going way faster, which is good. Ooh. Curse of Dread, nope. Oh great, they really did shorten that. I did that 2 days ago on my mage, and I swear I had to kill 5 times more of that. Come on, Dominar. Impuritus. I was finding it a bit interesting, so many of these Dominar, the way they have the Nexus points and stuff. If we go back and look at the dungeon, I'll just quickly say this before we kill him. The Nexus, anomalous. Directing so much of Azeroth's arcane energy through the Nexus has created tears in reality. As Malygos's forces try to drive back the invading creatures, the chaotic arcane power has taken the form as anomalous. And it's not on the exact same point, but it feels to me like a sort of parallel. Like arcane gets so close to being light sometimes with starlight or moonfire abilities, and they can also be a lot like a void. Look at the way Illidan, when he was working for the Moonguard, or were learning from them, consumed the life essence of people using an arcane spell. So then you have that, look at the Night Warrior that Tyrande was tapping into. All sorts of stuff like that, so pretty interesting. What did he call me? Pray to your petty well, he said. I see. I thought he called me an insult. I thought he said I was a ne'er-do-well. Who you call a ne'er-do-well? You nincompoop? Dude, this guy's relentless.
The Sunwell's radiance.
Nope, I've learned my lesson with that. Ouch, that one. I guess not. Not fast enough. Get wrecked. Let's get out of here. Finally.
Light guides my steps and illuminates my path. The light flows through me, and by its grace, I am made one with all that is sacred. The light guides
Enjoy
my
this
steps and
cinematic. I
illuminates
like it a
my
lot.
path.
I'll be
The
right
light
back,
flows
folks.
through
Be
me.
right back.
By its grace, I am made one with all that is sacred. The light guides my steps and illuminates my path. The light flows through me, and by its grace, I am made one with all that is sacred. Another miracle. Light be praised.
It isn't over, Liadrin. Our friends inside can't maintain this ritual indefinitely.
Have faith, Erator. This is the light of our salvation.
Well, that was timely. Glad we're finally getting a chance to get out of here.
Anaria Shala.
It's very cool. I'm interested to see, like, what is the Sunwell itself sort of showing this feeling of wrath to protect itself. May the light bless and protect you. We've not seen the end of Xalatath. We may not have beaten Xalatath, but we have forestalled her invasion.
Aldiel Shala.
The eternal sun still guides us.
Journey to Silvermoon.
The Vanguard of the Light will need quarters and supplies.
Didn't mean to show that.
I will consider it.
Thanks, player
After
character, for
something
flashing
here.
us. Okay. How cool is this skybox? Specifically, there we go. The way the light is like hitting it from behind almost. It's a bit of an as above, so below. Just the paint scheme. Here we go. On kinder shores. Just in time for sunset. Look at that. We fly up high enough. You guys know Azeroth is flat? No, it's not. I had somebody comment that on my newest video. They said Azeroth is flat, by the way. It's like, yeah, could be. I've been to space, though. I've seen it from space. Nice. Ryan B says Neil Acree did hard on that cutscene. He was really nice, yeah. Neil Acree is one of the OGs at this point for sure. He's been on definitely since Mr. Pandaria. He may have even done some tracks for Cataclysm, but yeah, his work on Pandaria alone is just earned him his spot for sure.
You are not needed. That isn't your decision to make.
It's red versus purple up in here. I'm not even sure if we have many Twitch viewers right now, but to anybody who's just viewing on Twitch alone, I have some YouTube stuff. If you've never seen me, you should look at the numbers. Go check out the description if you want to see some WoW lore videos. Not Serenar says, I loved his Twilight Hammer music in Cataclysm. Yeah, I think some of that feels like it's back in this one. If that's like the stone core, stuff like that. Really cool music.
Aldiel Shala.
We shall all weigh in on the situation. As you can see, there are many tensions at play. Give us a moment to discuss.
Silvermoon prospers.
Please do.
The Sunwell holds the Void Storm at bay for now. but its current state cannot be sustained forever.
And there's no telling how it could be affecting the rest of Eversong, especially the Light Bloom. We need an alternative course of
The
action.
light.
We Randorai can aid you in finding one. Grant us entry into Silvermoon.
Absolutely not! Your mere presence would risk defiling the Sunwell with void magic.
Then it seems we have nothing more.
It's interesting that
I'll
Ramoth
continue
says
my
that,
research
even
and
though
trade
there's a
again.
big, huge
Should
void
you
storm
choose to see
above it.
reason.
I don't know if it could get much worse right now.
The Grand Magister is right about one thing. Protecting the Sunwell is our top
Stop,
priority.
Mr. Domino.
The Vanguard
Thank you
of
for
the
chatting
Light
on
will see
YouTube.
to its defense.
You said doing Harandar as a Haranir
welcome,
was
Tarak.
kind of
But
disappointing.
remember that
Not a single
Silvermoon and the
throwaway
Sunwell
reference to my
belong
character
the
being
Sin'dorei.
Haranir.
You are
Had to redo
guests
the
in our
ritual from the
vessel.
Haranir starting zone as an
Guests,
outsider.
allies, and saviors, Lorthamar.
Yeah,
Rest
you
assured
think they could
that we
probably
guard your city and your
give you like an
people
NPC?
with
Like
full
imagine that
strength
you
of
get
the
to be the
light.
tour guide. So it's like, let's just make you do the same quest, but you could pretend that you're showing some outsider. That would have been the best way to do that. You know, that's like, since you already know our ways, get this traveler accustomed to them. Effectively, you just do the same quests with a little follower on you.
Made many sacrifices.
Our strength lies in our people.
Check in with the civilians, they say. I'm surprised they still make you do this one, I won't lie. I'm a little, little surprised. Once I've acquainted myself with the city the first time, I don't totally need to do it every time. But hey. I forgot that some of this was a little more relevant to the story.
You have already taken so many of my Blood Knights to empower the Sunwell. Quel'danas is largely undefended.
And I am telling you that it is still not enough. Only by the faith of our forces is the Sunwell holding back the void.
The Sunwell must not fall.
Then make sure we have everything we need and keep enemies off our backs.
General, perhaps you could see to our forces at the Sunwell. I will discuss matters with the Regent Lord.
As you will it, High Exarch. Vanguard, collect every weapon not nailed to a wall and let's move out.
Camera's still working, that's good. What else we got here? It's interesting how the Vanguard of the Light are able to kind of grab Lorthamar by the balls, so to speak, by using the Sunwell as his biggest concern. You know, he's very hesitant at first. He's like, I don't think we should do that. And I'm like, the only thing protecting the Sunwell. Oh, must not fall. His priorities are straight, but they're a little bit easily leveraged. That's what I'd say. Hello, Portal Trainer.
That burst of energy from the Sunwell, it was more powerful than any magic I've ever encountered. And I am well practiced. They say that army protects us, but I heard the surge was their doing. Do they even understand what they meddle with?
Very interesting. I think there's another comment someone says, with a character, I should say. The character says, if the Sunwell is capable of doing that, what else might it be capable of? And my thought, honestly, was, if you think about the Well of Eternity, which the Sunwell is just a fragment of the power of, does that turn Azeroth into a Death Star? Like, could you just shoot a big beam towards anything you want, using the Well of Eternity, if you wanted?
When there's danger.
I don't know.
I've never seen them this unnerved. If the animals are this affected, what about the rest of Eversong?
This guy's worried. The animals. Now, those are priorities that are perfectly in line with my thoughts as well.
Make use of our coffer. The last I saw shadows descend on quel'danas, Arthas marched on our kingdom with his army of Scourge. Now
Survivor.
another army marches in our streets, saying they're here for our protection. Are you certain of that?
Alright, calling it now. Arthas was light blinded. Yeah, you heard me. The culling of Stratholme? Wasn't his fault. He was light blinded. If only he wasn't a paladin, then he would have... I'm being facetious. Oh, that's such a... I won't lie, I'm a little bit undecided about this light blindness plot. Feels... I don't mind the idea of it being a new thing, like, you know, the light bloom seems to be more accelerated by this surge of light coming from the Void Storm, or towards the Void Storm from the Sunwell. But if you then think about... Spoilers for if you haven't done the Eretor campaign, but they reveal that Turalyon has had some moments which may have been light blindness in the past. And I think it gets a little bit slippery to just sort of sprinkle in retroactively, which I'm not against, but where do you draw the line? You know, are we going to get to a point when it's revealed that Arthas, you know, having lost Jaina, blinded by betrayal, just like Lothraxion, you know, and Uther, in Arthas's mind, he'll feel like, oh my gosh, I'm being betrayed when I'm the righteous paladin here. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up showing that some of his decisive action came from light blindness. Because that they seemed perfectly comfortable to apply that retroactively to Turalyon's case. So we'll see. I'm not really against it either way. It's just interesting to see, and I wonder how far they'll go with it. Will Sargeras have suffered from light blindness, or Agrimar? You know, something interesting about Agrimar in the RPG, it says that after he was betrayed by Sargeras, the only emotion that the Titan Agrimar, who's like the paladin, could feel, the only emotion he could feel was hate. Just hatred. And he just wanted to defeat his master, his former master, Sargeras, so bad. That's a crazy thing to put about a Titan. The only thing he could feel is hate. I don't know, maybe Agrimar was light blinded. Actually, thinking about that, just look at a little picture of him. I would probably check out. Maybe the old ones. I'm just looking for this black and white photo of him. Yeah, maybe this guy was light blinded, who knows? Maybe. Depends when that's after. It is after. He has a broken sword there. That'd be interesting. Bring up my chat here again. What do you guys think of new Silvermoon? Ultimately, it's very different, but it's not the worst different. I was surprised to see that they did totally just redo a lot of this Horde area. I thought they would kind of stick one for one there, because they did that so well with much of Eversong Woods.
My loyalties are my own.
Oh gosh, this is where we do delves.
The reliquary will lend
Interesting that Anduin is here and we don't see him say anything.
Let me know if you're interested as well.
Vesperial X, thank you for commenting on YouTube. You said Suramar still peak Elven City, and I think I kind of agree. You know, I think that there's something about the atmosphere of Suramar, which it's hard to navigate, that's for sure. There's a lot going on, but that's, I guess, why it felt like a real city. This does look a little bit like a theme park in ways, and I don't mean that in the worst way, but you can imagine, like, these over here is the gates. Oh, I should be careful what I say. New Silvermoon's gorgeous. I'm not saying it's the gates to Disney. It's not really. But what I was going to say after that is that this little hot dog stand over here in the middle, this is the concession, the visitor center. go around and you see all of the different... No, I'm gonna stop. Warcraft is not Disney-ified. In fact, funny enough, I used to say back in the day, like, you know, it'd be kind of fun to see something like Disney just buy out WoW, give it all the money it could have, all the money it wants to make films. So if that's what it takes, hey. But yeah, I do like it. I like all these causeways and stuff. The verticality here, where you have... It was one of my favorite things about Cataclysm's revamp of Orgrimmar, is that suddenly the canyon had multiple layers. Hey, Mana Buns! Good to see you popping into the Twitch chat there. Thank you so much for chatting. Let me see, do I have any alerts happening? Has there been activity? Like, did I get notified if you guys did? We have had a bunch of follows. You know what? I'm so sorry. I just opened that window. Thank you, SpaceCat80. Thank you, T-Mac. Thank you, Sremba, Cassieri, Polio Robot 31. Polo Robot. Sorry, that was... I was confused about that one. The Lilith P666. Thank you. Ryan Belmont, I think it says. Dizaki. A lot of these were an hour ago, but thank you guys. Thank you for following. Inishk. Yeah, Ishan Kish. Thank you for following on Twitch. I'm not sure how many we're at now. We're probably a bit closer. Ryan B says you rock. Thank you, sir. Thank you. At least I'm not sediment. One last person to check in with here, and then we can move on, I think, a little bit more. I'll still be forced into Eversong, because I haven't completed anything else. Your room is incredible from what I can see. Love the IRL decor. Yeah, I do have a couple things here. If you watch the VOD, I'll let the VOD speak for itself. Kind of early on, we explained that this is a handcrafted, hand-painted, it's like duct tape and cardboard and paint and stuff to make Vol'jin's urn, and I just love it. So yeah, owls, all of that stuff. Of course, man, I gotta have a... It's WoW housing after all, no. And many paintings. Some of my favorite artists, people like Bayard Wu, of course, doing this Caligos one right here. You know, Wei Wang up here with the Lich King, if that's visible. He also did kill Jaden. Alex Horley for Gul'dan. Got Wei Wang did Illidan. Sorry, not Glenn Stafford. That's a composer. What's his name? Glenn Rain. That's another Glenn. Glenn Rain doing the Battle for Azeroth up there. He also did some new art for the Xal'atath versus Lorthamar, which was very cool. Yeah, sorry for the lack of warning or anything there. Mana Buns. I guess I was trying to figure out a lot of technical difficulties surrounding getting it all working.
Well,
so just figured if it works, I'll keep going.
Visiting friends, seek the red banners around the city. We'll keep the Alliance out of those areas. Vespirialex
asks, do you think we will ever interact with a loon at some point, or see her, or is she too grand to put into the game? I'm thinking we... I was going to get more into this. I'll just put it this way. I think that at this point, a loon probably is just a different name for the world soul. But Alnhara is another name for the world soul. You even have, like, Anshe and Musha are names, like, for parts of the Earth Mother, and the Earth Mother seems to be, like, the world soul. So, the only discrepancy there is, like, why is a loon's light known through the reflection of moonlight and starlight, and versus being at the source with the world soul. But there's a bit of headcanon going on there. I can definitely admit that. My read on the story would say it's looking like there's a cosmic mom. You know, the cosmic mom is resting in an egg. She's getting her beauty sleep. And maybe she's supposed to be reborn, but has decided that this is the final resting place as well. Could be something like that. So, you know, that would explain sort of why the world trees are involved. Why I'm playing my hand a little too openly here, but we'll see how it goes. I think Elune is not just locked away somewhere in the Emerald Dream, though, because we did go to the Emerald Dream, and now we're in Herondar, and they've almost made a point to be like, yeah, she's not here. But I think it's interesting that in Amirdrasil is a world tree that's planted by a seed that was a tear of Elune. And then, you know, on top of this tree, inside of the Emerald Dream, which is usually like Elune's realm, is where the dragon aspects get empowered by Azeroth. So whatever the name Azeroth is, you know, given by the Titans, that's kind of where I'm thinking at this point. It's looking more and more like this is one big cosmic deity, a goddess.
Silvermoon prospers.
Who knows? Journey to Fairbreeze Village. In recent years, small pockets of wild growth we call light bloom have blossomed throughout Eversong. Curiosity of our local botanists for the most part. However, the Magistrix in Fairbreeze is asking for help with the local light bloom. Every capable... Distracted with the chat here. Imagine if Blizzard released the unreleased cinematic tracks from then to now. I would love to listen to that, the track that was heard in the Siege of Orgrimmar trailer, or the one in the Rejection of the Gift. Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff. There must be... Sometimes they do, which is why I'd say you should go looking for them. Like on Spotify, for example, I know there's got to be one in the Shadowlands soundtrack here. Just take a quick look. It might be called Anduin Finale, which is what I'm... Yeah, Anduin Raid Finale on Spotify is the cinematic track that plays when, you know, he breaks free from the domination in Zereth Mortis. So sometimes those tracks do exist. Let's open up the chat here again.
The beauty of Eversong endures.
The beauty of Oh, gotta take this crystal. Thanks, Ramath.
Eritor, you may be needed at the Sunwell.
This light bloom might actually be of use to the Vanguard. At the very least, I need to find out.
It's kind of funny that Eritor's first thought is like, oh, I could use the Vanguard. Oh, sorry, the light bloom. He wants to weaponize it.
Pleasantries can wait.
Imagine that, with what it actually does to people. That would be pretty terrifying.
Lady Liadrin, you've said little since we arrived.
My apologies. My thoughts are with the Sunwell. I did not expect it to react with such force.
You ask, and the light provides. Need it be more complicated than that?
She speaks of the Sunwell, not the light.
Your fount was blessed by the heart of Anaru. It is one and the same.
I suggest you hold your tongue, High Exarch. That fount you so blithely...
This reminds me of when Velen suggests to Tyrande that the light of Elune reminds her of Anaru, a powerful Anaru. She's like, maybe don't speak that opinion in Darnassus.
I wish I knew. It holds
Here we go.
back the void, yet I still wonder if the Sunwell is capable of such power. What else will it do?
What else will it do?
Worries me, Liadrin. Is it wrong for it to do so?
The effects of the Sunwell have never been malicious. It has blessed Eversong's forests with small groves of light bloom for years.
You know, it's an interesting thing. We've almost never seen offensive light spells from Anaru. I think the closest we may have seen is from Zorali, which
will see us through. Have faith. That is all that is needed from you.
Perhaps you should save your words for when they are asked for, High Excellence.
Owls of Atonement? It's not even. It's not the raid. Ah, well. Vespirilex says the midnight music has been really good, and I agree. There's a couple of tracks which seem too whimsical if you listen to them on their own, but then once I was in game, I thought, you know what? Kind of works. The whimsical is a bit of levity against the rest of the darkness, and really only. It's only Eversong that kind of, not even Eversong, but this one that struggle. Silvermoon that struggles with it. Yo, yeah, and whatever Zero was doing to Illidan, yeah, that's one of the first times that we saw that. It's like, that looks like an offensive casting spell. Spell casting. Let's see if I can find with Zerali here. Zerali does cast abilities. Anguished cries. Bolts of holy light. Bolts of holy light burst from Zerali, inflicting damage to the players. But it's kind of like, it's not her fault. She's being forced to do that. Definitely gonna be making some content talking about Zerali soon. Hopefully there's no scalpers paying attention here. Take a little glide over to Fairbreeze. It's really cool to see a lot of this changed up, you know. I'm so used to seeing this broken up wall here. Falcon Wing Square being completely gone is pretty crazy. Vespirial saying, this X-Pact really made me think about the light as non-benevolent, especially with all of this Wrath of the Light and Erator cinematic. Yeah, all that will be left is ashes. There's, just made me think about this one-headed sword. Where are they? Here we go. See that? Elun's Wrath and Elun's Fury. Oh, my disconnect.